Okay, India, if I have to compare, I would say India is like Europe. Europe has different countries, different cultures, and they speak different language. Same is India. India is one country, but we have different states, and every state speaks different language, and every state
Wow.
has different food and different dress as well. The most widely spoken language is Hindi, but
Yeah.
there are states where they don't speak Hindi. For example, I come from a state where we don't actually speak Hindi, so I don't understand Hindi. When my prime minister speaks, I don't understand. I just have to go for translation. I'm very proud about it. And personally, I
Wow.
have to. I think nobody in this world gets an opportunity to travel to 70 plus countries in one calendar year. You may go to 70 plus or even 100 countries in your lifetime, but in one
Lifetime,
year,
yeah.
in 65 days, to travel to so many countries and
Wow.
meeting so many young people who wants to learn, who wants to do something in life. But there's a famous saying which says, if you haven't traveled, that means that you have read only one page of your life.
I have here with me a special guest. Today, I have President Kaveen Kumar, 2024 JCI World President and a visionary global leader from India with over 15 years of impact in international development, humanitarian aid, and corporate leadership. He has spearheaded initiatives over more than 115 countries, championed youth empowerment, and even established International Human Duty Day at the United Nations. Beyond JCI, he's an entrepreneur, he's a trainer, he's a global advocate, inspiring leaders worldwide through his work and his voice. Welcome with me, President Kaveen Kumar. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure for us in the house because getting someone like you to come on JCI Journey podcast is a lot, despite your busyness, your busy schedule. But I really appreciate you made our time for this.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure.
So let's dive in. What is playing in my head was seeing you on the stage speak at our NatCon last year. I can remember your story very, very, very well. We are going to get into that. But before we get into that, I want you to, how, for people living under the rock, that is people that do not know you, I want you to tell us about yourself in your own words.
Okay, about me, I come from a tier two city in India. I mean, it's not a big city; it's a tier two city, and and for someone from this type of city to become a global president of an international organization is indeed a great achievement, according to my friends. Yes, but I don't actually completely agree with that. No matter where you are from, if you give your 100% on whatever you do, you will achieve whatever you want to achieve. Yes. So about me, I come from Erode, a place in Tamil Nadu state, Tamil Nadu in India, and I am a businessman. And I have a family, my wife, and I have two kids, my son and daughter. My son is 11 years old, and my daughter is 14 years old. They're all going to school, and yes, that is me.
Yeah, I was expecting something simple, very simple. So basically, what I can remember about your story is I see something in you. I see something in you. And I know you said that at an outcome. I want you to speak to that, starting from your first contact with JCI.
Okay, my very first introduction about JCI was in 2009. I've heard about this organization before because JCI has a school back in my hometown, and which is a very famous school where about 2,500 children study. So it is being run by a local organization. That is my home local organization now. But that's how I knew about JCI. But that's all I knew. I did not know what it was doing until I was forced to join this organization. But during my college days, I was
First,
Yes, I was forced to join. Yes, I'll tell you about that
Okay.
later. But during my college days, I was part of Rotract, the junior version of Rotary, but I've never heard about JCI. But when I finished my university studies in UK, and then I came back to India to join my father's business, that's when I was introduced to this organization by one of my father's friend. Eventually, it was all set up by my father. So he wanted me to be part of an organization because he was very actively involved with Lions Club. So uh,
Wow.
he wanted me to join some NGO, and he tried telling me, but I did not listen properly. So he made a strategy, and he asked one of his friend to take me out for a dinner, and it was eventually not a dinner, but I was taken to this JCA meeting, and that was my first contact. I was sitting in the last row. I did not know anything about the program or the organization, and suddenly somebody on the stage was asking. Was announcing my name, saying Kaveen is here to join this organization as a new member. That was a shock, but I had to go to the stage to take oath as a new member because I had to save the face of the gentleman who took me there. So that's how
Yeah.
I joined this organization. That was the first experience, first day, first program, without even knowing that I'm going to be a member. That's how I went to this program, this organization. Yes, I joined this.
Awesome. Thank you for that. The story is so interesting. I remember last year I was seated and I was just looking at you. You know, for us here, personally, we were trained to go to school and face studies. Do not join any organization. I'm talking about my own family. So they believe that joining organization could corrupt your upbringing. You could join bad gangs and all that. But it's interesting to see that parents over there, they made sure that their children are part of a global organization. You get. So I also want you to continue the story from forcing you to join the local organization. How did it proceed from there? Do you find it interesting?
Well, to be honest, I was not bothered about the organization after I joined because I was forced, right? I was very angry on my dad that he forced me to join this organization. So I still remember that night, 2009 December 13, yeah, 13th, yes. So I went back home and I told my dad that what you did today is actually a human rights violation, that you forced me to join this organization without even asking my permission. So I told him I'm
Well,
never going back to JCI again, and then he just smiled and he walked away. And I did keep up my words. I did not go to any JCA meeting for the next
wow.
1.5 years. 1.5 years.
Wow.
I kept on receiving calls from presidents, the board of directors, project directors. Everybody used to call me, and then I would be like, okay. At some point of time, I thought, okay, I should not pick this call because anyways, I'm not going to go to this organization. So, and then something changed. On one fine day, I got a call from one of the local president of my home local organization. He said, we have a donation drive. The donation drive is about giving library books to a school, and he said that he wanted me to be the project director of the program, which I couldn't say no. I was like, I
Wow.
found it interesting. Okay, a donation
Mm.
that interested myself to be a participant in that program. And then project director, the word was very interesting. So I thought, okay, let me join. And I asked him what should I do, and he gave me a checklist. And it was interesting. I prepared the things which was required for that particular program, and then
Awesome.
I went there. It was interesting. That was my first entry into the organization, I should say. And after that, the real interest, I got the interest after attending a training program uh, with my wife. It was, she liked it, she loved it. And then I started involving myself in different programs. We just wanted a place to go during
Mm.
the weekends. So this organization gave us the opportunity to interact with new people. So that's how I started involving myself in this organization.
Thank you so much for that. But really, let's talk about this. Why didn't you want to join JCI at first?
Why? Please come again.
Why didn't you want to join JCI at first?
Well, I told you I did not want to join JCI at first, right? But after
Why?
uh, because I did not know anything about the organization. So, I mean, like, not just JCI, even if it would have been Rotary or Lions, I would have still said no, because that was an age where you had an opinion about yourself, thinking that you know everything, right? I was at that
Yeah.
age that I thought, okay, I know everything. And then when I started involving, and something got my interest, and that is when I understood that, okay, there are lots and lots of things to learn, and I don't know anything, and then I have to spend time to understand and learn, and that's how I
Oh,
started spending time in this organization.
awesome. So on this series, we want you to be very relaxed and give us the wisdom behind your growth from joining local organization in India to becoming the world president. You know, there are nuances in between. There's a lot. People like us that are just growing up can learn from that. Looking back in retrospect, how was it like?
Well, yes, it's a 15 years, 16 years long journey, I should say, because we this is 2025, and I joined by end of 2009. And even if you take out the first 1.5 years of no activity, it is still close to 15 years. So I
Yeah.
should, I just followed a simple rule. When this is basically a quality of mine, that when I involve myself and do something, I always wanted to give me 100%. I
Mm.
always aim for perfection. So when I was asked to take up different leadership positions in this organization, I aimed for perfection, and probably that got the attention of people, saying that, okay, this person has something in him, maybe he can grow in this organization. So they kept on giving me responsibilities, and I kept on accepting the responsibilities. But sometimes I also did not know how to say no. I had to accept everything, and that was overwhelming also sometimes. Looking back now, I have no regrets, but yes, I did accept a lot of things which I could have said no, but at that point of time I did not know. But giving my 100%, I aimed for perfection. That was one secret. But
Mm.
there were many people like me, not just me, but to grow to this position, the JCI World President is a unique position.
Yeah.
There are many people who have lots of better qualities there than me, but they did not end up to become the JCA World President. And you also have to have the luck factor sometimes, but that's only a small portion. But you have to give your best, and people must recognize you, and that's when magic will happen.
Mm. So while you were talking, I heard you talk about giving your 100%. And I can remember that you were married at that time. Did that not affect your family? Looking at JCI, you travel a lot, trainings, programs. Can you speak to that?
Okay, I told you about my city, right? It's a tier 2 city, so we don't have discos, we don't have big pubs here, we don't have place where you can go and relax, sightseeing. Nothing is here. So it is very usual for people here to spend quality time in organizations like this. So that's why my father also wanted me to join the JCI. So yes, that's how I ended up involving myself. Can you come again with the question? I forgot your question. What was that?
Yeah, I was asking if it affected your family, giving time to
Family.
JCI and your family.
Okay. So I told you it's a very small place. So I went to every meeting with my family. So they also traveled with me
Oh, wow.
in the beginning, but at some point of time, yes, they had to miss me. I had to miss them. I had to travel a lot. When I was a local president, it was okay. I was still in the same city, but then I became and zone vice president. And zone vice president comprises of serving to 7 different districts in my state. That required traveling. And then 2019, I became the zone president. And that also required a lot of traveling. So
Mm.
yes, but I made sure that I spent quality time. So when I was a zone president, the first half of the day I spent for my business and family. But the
Okay.
second half of the day, every day I spend for the organization. So no matter what, the first half is never for the organization, is always for the business, and the second half
Mm.
of the day is always for the organization on that year. So my order of priority is always family first, business next, and JCI will come next, the third one. But when you are a JCA president, it's a different story. You always have to, it is going to be JCA first, JCA second, and JCA third.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Yeah.
understood. They understood. The kids probably did not understand what I was doing. Last year I traveled a lot, and I spoke. Whenever I spoke to my kids, my daughter kind of understands what I was doing, but my son was like, okay, do whatever. I don't care what you do, but when are you coming home? This is the only question he'll always ask. When are you coming home?
Wow.
My travel schedule will be like, I used to travel for 3 months, 4 months together, and then I come back home. Initially, I planned in a way that, three at least twice in a month I decided to come back home. But then when I came back home, I understood that I was disturbing them, and when I went out of the country again, for them to adjust and not miss me, that took a couple of weeks for them to adjust.
Mm.
So then I
Mm.
decided, okay, let me not show up for 2 or 3 days. Let me travel and not disturb their schedule. Yes, it was
Mm.
difficult.
Yeah.
It needs lots of compromise. It needs lots of support from your family. For my business, my father supported, my brother supported. Without their support, I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have never even imagined about doing something like this, because I was out of my business for what, close to 2 years, 2.5 years. I was there, but I was not there. you know uh,
Mhm.
Spending half day is like I was still there, but there are, if you're a businessman, you have to be there 24 hours, no matter what. So
Mm.
they always covered up for my absence, and that is why I'm able to come back after 2.5 years of traveling, and go sit in my office, because they took care of everything, and everything is in order.
Yeah.
So support of
Yeah.
family is very, very important when you're doing something.
Very, very important. So, looking back now, what's your best memory during your period of traveling around leading JCI? What was your best memory that can never leave you?
I would say, in a personal memory, and also in terms of the organization, I would say, um, in 2024 we did something for the first time. Never
Okay.
before in the recent history. I say recent history because this organization has a history of 110 years, and you never know what happened before 50, 60 years. So in the recent history, this organization never had so many initiatives, and that is
Mm.
something which I'm very, very proud about. So we introduced 24 new initiatives. So all those 24 new initiatives, right now you see this backdrop. I'm sitting in my table. This is where I sat down for days together to compile and write all those initiatives. It is not something I know it came out of my mind, but it was a document compiled. I took out the initiatives from different countries. Nigeria, for example, I
Wow.
took out the JCI Collegiate, that became the junior club. So there are
Yeah.
so many initiatives like that. So 24 new initiatives I introduced for JCI is something I'm very, very proud about. And if you'll ask me, name one, I would say I'm very proud about Human Duties Day. I'll talk more about it later, but yes, 24 new initiatives for the organization is something which I'm very, very proud about. And personally, I think nobody in this world gets an opportunity to travel to 70 plus countries in one calendar year. You may go to 70 plus or even 100 countries in your lifetime, but in one
Lifetime.
year,
Yeah.
in 65 days, to travel to so many countries and
Wow.
meeting so many young people who wants to learn, who wants to do something in life, and you being a leader, you go there and you inspire them. It is a great opportunity. That is one memory, I'll cherish forever. Every country I went in, I still remember. You said Nigeria's national convention speech, but what I remember in Nigeria was I met a lot of young members, very very young members. They were so enthusiastic, and they wanted to ask me a lot of questions, and they wanted to click a lot of pictures with me. But I
Yeah.
understood. Yes, they are searching for answers, and they're searching for answers for a lot of questions they have as a young person. So this happened to me in 70 different countries. So I was so happy to do that. That is something I'll cherish
Wow.
forever.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. That was huge. Um, so while you were talking, I was just thinking about a lot of things, and then I wish I could be in your position. I don't know how you feel right now going through all those stages, but I also know that there are experiences that were not palatable. Can you remember one or two of them that you felt you can't take this any longer? You can't hold this together. That almost tore you apart. Can you share?
Well, i- to my knowledge, I don't exactly remember anything particularly that I couldn't do. But yes, when you travel, you don't sleep properly. You don't sleep properly. And at the end of the year, somebody asked me, "Do you want to do this again?" I was like, I you know I'll seriously have to think about it, because it really takes a toll on your health. You don't have time to exercise. You don't have time
Yeah.
to sleep. You always jump between different time zones. And people ask me, okay, how's your jet lag? I told them, I live in a no time, I don't have a specific time zone. I keep jumping from one time
Wow.
zone to another. So that is something that I cannot do it again, because no sleep, and you land in a country sometimes without sleep. You land. I've had instance where I got ready in the airport, and then I went straight to the meeting after an overnight journey. I just had to prepare
Yeah.
myself at the airport, wear my suit, go out, get into the car, go straight to the meeting, give speech. So these things, it was enjoyable experience, but definitely you cannot do it again and again.
So if you are given the opportunity, you won't take it.
Yes, but people, coming from India, people have this assumption that Indians don't eat certain food. Indians are mostly vegetarians, but I was exactly the opposite to what the usual
Wow.
Indian do. I eat everything. That's something which I told myself that Kaveen, you're going to travel the world, and it is one good opportunity for you to enjoy the local culture, local experience, and local. Talking about local experience, it every culture is connected to the food. So
Mhm.
if I go to Nigeria and if we don't eat spicy food, then that means that I did not enjoy
Yeah.
Nigeria and I understand Nigeria to the fullest. So I said myself that,
Wow.
okay, you're going to eat everything, whatever is served on your plate, you're going to eat. And I did had some weird stuffs you can not even imagine. They did serve me.
So do you remember the name of the food you had when you came to Nigeria?
I had the spicy goat head.
Wow.
Yeah, that was good. That was
Correct.
really.
That's correct. Wow. Awesome. I know you mentioned that your country is you came from a very small city, but I know it's still within India. Can you tell us about India? Some of us we've researched about it, but we've not been there. Can you give us a taste of what it looks like?
Okay, India, if I have to compare, I would say India is like Europe. Europe has different countries, different cultures, and they speak different language. Same is India. India is one country, but we have different states, and every state speaks different language, and every
Wow.
state has different food and if different dress as well. So it is completely different. When I have to go and talk to somebody from another state in India, I had the most widely spoken language is Hindi, but
Yeah.
there are states where they don't speak Hindi. For example, I come from a state where we don't actually speak Hindi, so I don't understand Hindi. When my prime minister speaks, I don't understand. I just have to go for translation. So when I have
Wow.
to go and speak to people from different states, I use English. So it is a very unique country. You'll find unique culture. We have close to 200 plus languages here.
Wow. That's
It,
like
it's
Nigeria.
Yes, it's a big country. It's a big country. I haven't explored it yet. I've been to parts, but not completely.
Awesome. So talking about India, do you see opportunities for Nigeria to partner with India? Are there ways we could, collaborate or probably do something with people in India?
Yes, I see a lot of Nigerians here. Even in my hometown, there are a few Nigerians here who come here to study. So there are a lot of international students here, not just in my hometown, maybe a very small part, but there are many Nigerians here in India who are here as international students to study. And speaking about Nigeria, speaking about Africa, India has particularly a lot of interest in Africa, and we do a lot of business, if I'm not wrong. We do a lot of business, import, export to Africa. And yes,
So,
Africa has a lot of potential. It has a great future. In my experience, when I travel, I understood, okay, Africa has a great future. We just have to streamline things and make sure that everything is politically aligned, and then there's no stopping. Africa is a big continent, and
yeah,
there is a lot of opportunity, hell, a lot of opportunity.
yeah. So talking about opportunities, we have Gen Zs here that want to work remotely with people, and I'm sure many JCI Nigeria member will be watching this. They want to work remotely with people outside the country. Do you think that opportunity is there for some of our people to work remotely with some of your people in India?
It is possible. It is possible. Now you have a lot of things working digitally, and I'm sure there are a lot of opportunities. Yes, it is possible, and things are changing quite drastically, and there should be different opportunities. I'm not able to name the opportunities, but there should be many.
So you also mentioned that you had to leave your business, to attend to JCI matters. I'm sure JCI impacted on your business. I wouldn't say negatively because we are not available, but are there ways JCI also impacted on your business positively?
Yes, I was able to implement a lot of things which I learned from JCI. I was able to talk to my, we have a lot of staff members working in our company, and during staff meetings, I do used to struggle at the beginning. In 2009, 2010, I used to struggle. I always take a back seat. I always allow my dad to take the lead. But then this organization gave me the confidence. This organization gave me a lot of ideas to implement a lot of strategies and systems in the business. And JCA gave me a lot of friends as well. So, of course, yes, a lot of connections, a lot of business, a lot of things did happen, and I did implement a lot of things which I learned from this organization.
Yeah, so I know you've met several people around the world. You've connected several minds. You probably might not be able to remember some of them, but the ones you still keep contact with, how are you able to maintain the relationship to make sure that it is solid and it is profitable at both ends?
Well, when you travel to these many countries in 1 year, and every time you land in a country, you don't know what you're doing. Of course, you have a schedule, but it is very, very, very fast. You'll not even have time to ask the name of the person whom you met. So it is
Yeah.
really, really difficult to maintain the relationship. But of course, people connect me in LinkedIn and Instagram, and they do write a lot of messages because you told me that you saw me in Nigeria, but I don't remember because I saw a lot of people, right? Uh, if you did not mention it, I wouldn't have known that we met. So,
Yeah.
but yes, there are certain people whom you will definitely have a good rapport, uh, namely the national presidents and the national, some of them from the national board. Those
Share with us what's your best advice. I want you to think about it very well. What's the best advice you have received so far?
best advice. If I have to give a best advice to a JCA member who joins this organization, I would say spend time in this organization. The problem now is people expect instant gratification. They want everything to
Mm,
happen very, very quickly. It doesn't work that way in this organization, and that's why we don't have million members. We just have 150,000 members. That's because you have to spend time here to understand what is happening. I spent close to 1.5 years doing nothing, and then I involved myself in this organization, and that's when I understood, okay, there's something in this organization. But if you look at the picture, my first my installation as a new member, there were a lot of people on stage with me, along with me, but close to 60-70% did not continue in the organization after first year.
wow.
And after 4 years, 5 years, there was probably 4 or 5 out of 50, 30 continuing this organization. Why did that happen? That was because they did not have the patience to wait and understand, to involve themselves. Instead they were expecting things to happen. So
Um,
that's why they were not enjoying the organization to the fullest. So my advice for them would be to spend time and involve yourself, and that's when maybe you will get what this organization can offer to you.
yeah, awesome. Do you know that people look at you as a superhero? Haven't become JCI president, it's unique. People look at you as a superhuman. You might not know, but I'm sure you'll have seen that. What would you say are your strengths, and what would you say are your weaknesses?
My weakness,
Yeah, and your strengths.
my strength. I told you my strength is I try to give my 100%. So I plan very well. I plan very well.
Mm,
That has been my strength forever now. Ever since I was a student, I used to plan well on how to study, when to study, what subject to study, on what day, what time.
mm,
I used to have a timetable. So starting from my school days, that's how well I planned. And that probably the plan of action which I wrote for the organization was a reflection of my planning, because I took time
mm,
to travel in 2022. I traveled close to 13 different countries with President Arhanis, and
mm,
just to understand the organization on a global level. Because after COVID, after 2 years of lockdown, when nobody traveled, no World Congress happened, everything was online. I had to go and understand this organization, become before I could take the biggest position of the organization. So 22, I traveled around the world just to gain more knowledge. And
yeah,
23, I sat down and wrote this plan of action. Planning is my biggest strength. Sometimes
wow.
looking out for over perfection, I would if I can say that, over perfection is kind of my
Yeah.
weakness. um, Sometimes I expect a lot from people who are working around me. That led to a lot of disappointments because I was expecting a lot and they probably did not understand that. But then when you have the enough experience, I just corrected it. Yes, so that's my strength and
Um,
weakness.
so two more questions, and I'll let you go. I know you have another meeting very soon. What has this exposure done to you? Is there something unique traveling around the world could do to you that nothing else could give you that mindset?
There's a famous saying which says, if you haven't traveled, that means that you have read only one page of your life. When you
Wow.
lot when you travel a lot, you understand more about life, you understand a lot of things which cannot be explained. So I'm still reflecting, because I did not have the time to sit down and reflect what actually happened, what I actually did last year, because it was meetings after meetings. You just sleep, wake up, you land at the next country. So that's why I decided, okay, I will record all the things which I do last year, which I did last year. So I am on the verge of completing my book, which will very soon
Wow.
be published. So
Okay.
in that book, I've written extensively about the food I had, the learnings I got, the people I met, the culture, the experience. Everything has been mentioned in the book, but it really gives you a different perspective of
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
World is big. You just cannot constrain yourself in your hometown, your home city, and thinking about a lot of petty issues. Life is big. Yeah, but the world is big. You can definitely design it the way you want to live. The ultimate
Thank you
aim is to
so
be
much for that.
happy. Yes,
You said what?
the ultimate aim is to be happy, happy, happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Very true. So we just started this. We started this series. We are not sure exactly what it will do to people, but we know people are watching, people are learning. I want you to, what do you think about it? And I want you to speak to the team. Do you think we should continue? Do you think it's a good initiative? We just want to get your view about this podcast.
Of course, it's a good initiative. You should continue to get a lot of global leaders, because not many will do something like this and try to get the right people in the podcast. So you can do a podcast, but getting the right people in the podcast is what it matters. So
Yeah.
do go around. You can definitely contact a lot of JCA presidents. They will be willing to come out and talk about their experience. It is going to be an enjoyable experience for the person who's speaking, and also for the
Yeah.
person who's listening.
Awesome. So last word. What is there any question you would have loved to speak to that I didn't ask you? Something on your mind that you would like to say?
Okay, I did mention about something about the Human Duties Day at the beginning. I said
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later at this podcast. So Human Duties Day is something which is very close to my heart. And 2022, JCI uh, actually had something called as Declaration of Human Duties for Leaders. So it was a seven-point policy which was included in the policy of this organization, which said, okay, we should also talk about human duties, declaration of human duties for leaders. And that's when we started to talk about human duties for leaders. But in 2024, when I wanted to have one specific day, and then I always had this thought, okay, why is JCA not having one specific day that is not being celebrated in across all the 115 countries? And Human Duties Day was the answer. So I was searching for, okay,
Wow.
what should we say? What kind of a day should we name, and should we have something in common which will make all the JCA members to celebrate? And that's when this idea about Human Duties Day struck. And when this was initially presented, it was an instant hit. Everybody said yes. This is a great idea. Let's do
Yeah.
it. And that's how we framed Human Duties Day, because that was just a document sitting in the policy of the organization, human declaration of human duties
Wow.
for leaders. But we needed something which is actionable. We wanted people to talk
Yeah.
about it every year, and that's when we decided, okay, we should have something called Human Duties Day. And we decided July 10th. No specific significance behind July 10th.
Yeah.
Just comes in a time where everybody will be able to organize something. It doesn't come during the area conferences of JCI.
Mm.
So July 10th was the day, and it's a very convenient day for everybody. And it is being celebrated across at least across 80 plus countries. And we did launch a signature campaign, which is now being signed by more than 180 countries across the world. Human Duties Day is something very special and something which I wanted to talk about today. And launching it from the
Thank you
UN
so much, President. Yeah.
United Nations premises in New York, launching it from there, that was a great
Awesome.
memory.
Thank you so much, President Calvin. It's a great pleasure for us in the studio having you. I really appreciate your time. I want to take your time beyond this. I know you have another meeting. Thank you so much. I would always keep in touch. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, and all the best for this initiative. Keep having this podcast forever. Go talk to people from different parts of the world. I'm sure that everybody will be excited to talk with you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a blessed day.